All right. Floyd Mayweather Jr. never stops with the arrogant stuff. And from somebody that is, and myself, that really appreciates the history of boxing, has been watching boxing a long time, spends time away from the time that I'm doing videos just to catch up myself on the eras of boxers and great boxers that I wasn't familiar with. Man, Floyd Mayweather Jr. is sad, man. This dude sits up and says about the Philly shell that he has his own defense, that he doesn't care who did it before and where it was done before. It's his because he mastered it. Man, will you please shut up? You are not the first person to master that. Not even remotely the first person to master it. And even if you did, dude, have some damn respect, man, because what's going to happen to Floyd Mayweather Jr. is what goes around comes around. But let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. So look, I was watching, going through Twitter, checking out the Twitter. Thank you to everybody that follows on Twitter, man. Especially if you're in the LDBC, if you're on Twitter, man, hit me up on Twitter, follow me on Twitter. I do spend a good amount of time, that's my leisure time in boxing, is on Twitter, where I chop it up with people. If you want to get comments from me or send video requests or anything like that, man, hit me up on my Twitter with that. But I was going through Twitter and I saw this interview that Floyd Mayweather Jr. was talking to somebody, and the excerpt said from it, he talked about how he sounded like this spoiled baby, man. Like, came across like, dude, you got everything in the world, man. You've accomplished everything, man. Now accomplish some humility. You know what I mean? Accomplish some humility. There's many people, dude, who are very, very successful in life that are accomplishing things that other people can't dream of accomplishing. When you talk to them, they are very humble. They don't find it necessary to try to rub your face in their success. And it is just, and that maybe as a boxer, and what you need to do in the ring, that is a personality characteristic that is desirable and beneficial. Like the kill or be killed attitude, like with Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. When Kobe Bryant was playing, Kobe Bryant came across to me as extremely arrogant, extremely about me. You know what I mean? And was, taking all the shots, and not all the shots, obviously, but doing these things and winning championships. And when I listened to him and I saw him, I didn't like him because, number one, man, I was a big Shaq fan, but I didn't really like him because, just that you could just see he was super arrogant. Like, Michael Jordan was arrogant. But Kobe's just seemed like to be another level of that, another level of that. But, and that's just my impression. But when Kobe Bryant retired, Kobe Bryant's personality came out as one of the more humble guys, a guy that wanted to help other people, somebody that wasn't rubbing his success and his championships in your face. You know what I mean? And he's always with his daughter and is a family man. It's just really after he was done playing, I became a Kobe Bryant fan. Because how could I not become a Kobe Bryant fan when a guy carries himself like that? When he's a good father, he's a good husband. I'm sure he might have been doing whatever up outside or whatever, and I don't know that he was. I'm not saying he's perfect, but that's a picture that I got from him. And that is what you'll see in a lot of people that are successful. That are tremendously successul. Muhammad Ali is the same way. Muhammad Ali might talk a little bit, talk a little bit of smack, but after he retired, dude, he became a pretty humble guy. He wasn't the same guy that you saw early in his career. Floyd Mayweather Jr., to me, when he says things like what he said, when he said that, look, who's got numbers like me? Who's done numbers like me? Nobody's doing numbers like me. And I got my own defense. Yeah, my dad taught me the defense. And so when I hear people call it the Philly shell, I'm like, nah, man, you don't call that a Philly shelf. That's the Mayweather defense. That's mine. Like, man, what are you talking about, dude? You are not remotely the first person to hide their chin behind the shoulder and bump it off with a punch. To bump a punch off with it. You're not remotely the first guy to do that, man. There's reels and reels of people. They talk about people people that use that defense and use it intermittently. And you certainly were not the first person to master it. But even if you did, let's say you definitely mastered it, but were you the first person to master it? I don't think you are. And I definitely don't believe that you know if you are or are not. Because your father taught it to you, which means your father got it from somebody else. And your father, just because your father didn't master it, doesn't mean that nobody else mastered that. That the idea that in 200 years of boxing, you are the first person to effectively use that defense is foolishness. And even if it was true, it is just so smug and so arrogant that it makes me want to go back, think, man, I really hate cheering for that. I hate that I cheered for that dude. Like, I was riding with Floyd Mayweather Jr. during the Manny Pacquiao stuff. Now, I knew Floyd Mayweather Jr. is a better fighter than Manny Pacquiao. So I wasn't ever really worried about the outcome of it. There was just people that were supporting that were supporting Manny Pacquiao that got on my nerves because they kept, they talked about Floyd Mayweather Jr. like these AJ fans talk about Deontay Wilder. All you got to do to Floyd Mayweather Jr. is throw a lot of punches. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. Deontay Wilder, all you got to do is stay out of the way of the right hand. That's all you got to do. Oh yeah, that's all you got to do, right? Well then, man, people are having a hell of a hard time. World-class boxers are having a hell of a hard time doing that. Just doing that. That's why, but when he does stuff like this, man, and he shows a disrespect for the fighters that came before him, it's really, really irritating. And another example of is this TBE thing, right? I'm the best ever. Man, the best ever and greatest of all time literally mean the same thing. So as you have the Philly shell that should no longer be called the Philly shell, the greatest of all time should no longer be the greatest of all time. It should be TBE. You know what I mean? So I love Philadelphia. Dude, people in Philadelphia ain't the only one to do that either, man. People in Philadelphia ain't the first one to have good defense. And Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s defense is not the best ever. There's guys that fought at the same time as him, whose actually careers overlap, that had just as good a defense or better defense. Shoot. Pernell Whitaker has incredible defense. She's not the first person with a great defense, although I do believe he's talking about that style. Now, I will agree with Floyd here. There's a lot of people trying that out that are far from mastering it. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of guys that are just not going to be as good of fighters as Floyd Mayweather Jr. Because as much as I criticize Floyd Mayweather Jr. for just being a smug ass, man, just a smug, arrogant, but yet wildly insecure dude. The guy could fight, man. The guy could fight for days. But here's the thing with Floyd. And this is what I said in the beginning of this video, and I'm going to say it again. What goes around comes around, man. What goes around comes around. Disrespecting what people have done for the sport of boxing before Floyd Mayweather Jr. is going to come around and sting him in his ass something fierce, because it's not going to sting him in his pocket, because the guy's already got a ton of money. I'm not with all this, he's going to be starving, he's going broke. I'm not with all that. But it's going to sting him in his ego. It's going to sting him in his ego, and it's going to sting him in his ego bad. And he'd be better off dropping that ego before it's too late, because he is the biggest money maker in boxing history for sure. He is not going, in total dollar, in net present value of the money they made, that's up for question. But net present value aside, just raw numbers, the dude made a ton of money and his numbers are huge, but they're not going to be but they will be passed. They will be passed, because that's one thing you know for sure about records. They get broken. Okay? They get broken. And if they don't get actually broken, somebody will get close enough and then lie about it. And then all of a sudden you're sitting there like, oh shit, Shakur Shakur Stevenson, now let's do something more realistic. Jaron Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz in 2026 sells 7.5 million pay-per-view buys at $100 a pop. Whoa, that's a $700 million at the gate. That's $1.5 billion fight. And then Floyd gonna be sitting there with his record broke. And then what? Now your self-esteem is gone because somebody did better than you, and you can't rely on what you did in a historical sense because you shit on the people that came before you. So won't even feel sorry for you, won't even defend you. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's your boy, that's your arrogant boy, Floyd Mayweather Jr. Had to do this video though, had to do it. Anyway, it is what it is. With that, I'm out. Peace.